Hello, my name is Bruce Cain. I kind of self-identify as a perennial hippie, which is basically short for a smart hippie, I suppose you might say. I've done a lot of things in my life. I spent 30 years trying to legalize marijuana, which we kind of succeeded with in Michigan. And done a lot of things. So the past couple of years I've been talking about EMF radiation and the health, privacy, and freedom implications of that. So anyway, it's the last day of June. This is my garden. Kudos to my wife, because she's done most of this. So I guess we're ready to get started. Today's video, I guess we'll title Time to Rise Up Against the Globalist Agenda of No Choice, No Voice. Before I get started, I encourage you to join my Facebook group, Stop Smart Meters and Geoengineering Globally. Click Show More below the video to access the links. If you've been reading my essays over the past several months, here's the basic encapsulation if you want to catch up. The Rockefeller Rothschilds financed and established the UN around 1945 with a long-term goal of establishing a global government. Many decades before they established the Federal Reserve in 1913, they were instrumental in making cannabis illegal because it was a threat to their oil empire and big pharma. Around 1968, they started pushing anthropogenic climate change, or man-made climate change, as a mechanism to achieve that goal. As man-made climate change was challenged, they looked towards other mechanisms, including a pandemic, which has now been unleashed, and more recently they're using the George Floyd race riots as yet another mechanism. The two most visible flexions, or minions, of the Rothschild-Rockefeller empire being used to push this agenda are none other than Bill Gates, with his forced vaccinations, and George Soros, who funds both Black Lives Matter and Antifa. This is crystal clear in my writings and through the open source internet journalism, but it's purposely hidden by globalist corporate media, whether it be Fox or MSNBC or CNN and many others. So obviously this is an oversimplification. So anyway, today somebody sent me a poem by this British activist poet named Chris McGlade, across the pond in England, and it's called The Right to Hate, and exposes the globalists and their agenda. Central to this agenda is a concerted effort to divide us along lines of race, class, ethnicity, and religion. It's an old age ploy to divide the masses so we don't unite in going after the real enemies of humanity, the globalists and their agenda. And what I really liked about this poem is I think people are waking up. You know, the corporate media has always tried to say that it's Democrats versus Republicans and all this. And they don't know, they don't want to really divulge the real truth. Our real enemy are these globalist corporations that have little regard for anybody or really anything. Now, I must apologize, as I have to speak in code to avoid being censored by the globalist YouTube censors. For the last 2 years, my writing and activism has been directed towards the densification of electromagnetic radiation. I actually have to avoid the word I would rather use for EMF radiation, because if I do use that term, YouTube will probably delete the video, as they have done to my last 2 videos. Fortunately, the transcripts for those deleted videos are available, and I will provide them in the links. You can access them by clicking on the Show More button below the video. And the ones that were deleted, the transcripts, I've got a little asterisk by both of those, so you can understand which videos they actually deleted. Now I want to turn to the globalist agenda, and it's best defined by the UN documents on Agenda 21, Agenda 2030, and the Sustainable Development Goals, or SDGs. I cover the globalist agenda in my essays, but you can do your own research by simply Googling these three terms, really. Some of the planks of the UN globalist agenda include forced vaccinations, global biometric IDs, smart cities controlled and surveilled by digital technology, a cashless society, which means everything we purchase will be tracked and monitored. Credit scores will come from that, just like in China. Strong cities controlled by a globalized police force. That's something Obama started around 2013, and it's now being pushed by the defund the police movement, which is utterly insane. But that's being pushed by George Soros, because ultimately he wants a UN police force on American soil. Then, of course, there's contact tracing, which is a gross violation of our Fourth Amendment rights to privacy. And then, this has been going on for a very long time, the decimation of the middle class, that's well underway. A global government under the control of the Rothschilds, Rockefellers, and global corporations like Ford Motor and Dearborn and Rand Corporation, and I could go on and on. Also the foundations like the Rockefeller Foundation, the Rothschild Foundation, the Gates Foundation, I could go on and on. And of course the big thing that we're seeing now is just this mass suppression of free speech, because what's happened is, Facebook and most of the internet platforms were actually funded by DARPA as a means of surveillance, and now with open source internet journalism, they've lost the narrative, and a lot of us are waking up, and people like me are trying to help you wake up. And so this is why they're using this last-ditch, measure of trying to censor everything. And I can't even begin to go into how that has happened to me over the last year or two. So what do I mean by a globalist agenda of no choice, no voice? Well, all the planks I just listed are being shoved down our throats, even though they violate our health, privacy, and freedom. So that's basically what I mean by no choice. We really don't have a choice anymore. We're like slaves on a globalist plantation. Now I'm going to talk about corporate media. Tucker Carlson I really like, and I really like Dina Centofanti in Detroit. They both work for the globalist Fox network. And, over the past months, it's just really boiled my butt, because there are just some things they can't talk about if they want to keep their job. So I'll just list, this is a very short list, but things you won't hear from these people, like one, Flossie of the Trump coronavirus team gave $3.7 million to the Wuhan bioweapons lab. Flossie is involved with Bill Gates, the World Health Organization, and Big Pharma, and they're all pushing an agenda of forced vaccinations. I mean, you hear this all the time. We can't fully open society again until we have the vaccine. Nobody wants your goddamn vaccine, I've read several polls where 80% of the people are saying, no goddamn way in hell am I going to take that vaccine. And then it's interesting that Flossie predicted that there would be a pandemic in 2017, right after Trump came into office. How did he know that? How come these journalists aren't looking into things like this? And then we have Soros. He's the original funder of Black Lives Matter, and he also funds Antifa, which is a fascist group of thugs. And they're trying to foment a race war in America and Europe to divide the people. And that's one of the things I really liked about Chris McGlade's poem, because the poem really shows that we're waking up to this. We see why they're trying to divide us, so we don't go after the real culprit in this whole global mess, and that's the Rothschilds, the Rockefellers, the global corporations, the global foundations. I mean, I'm just a perennial hippie. You know, my goal for myself and everybody else is, you know, to live a dignified life, have children, and, you know, make each generation a little better than the last. And finally, Soros and Bill Gates are psychopaths working as flexions, or, you know, agents, I suppose you could say, for the Rothschilds, the Rockefellers, and the United Nations, which they finance and ultimately control. And this is one thing, you know, you will never hear them really connecting Fauci with Soros and Gates and the World Health Organization. You're just not going to hear that. You're not going to hear that Soros is, you know, funding these groups that want to divide America, like Black Lives Matter. He doesn't give a damn about blacks or anybody else, you know. But the point is, and I've written this in an essay that you'll find, is, you know, I say that, one of my essays, I say, you know, if Trump is not a globalist, he should arrest, prosecute both Bill Gates and George Soros. And I mean, doing those two things would probably eliminate a lot of the crap that's going on right now, because frankly, I have many views on the pandemic. It may be a bioweapon, it may not, it may be just mass hysteria. I mean, people are obviously dying. It's troubling that thrombosis is one of the things we're seeing, which is not normal, you know, for most flu viruses and things like that. Anyway, I go into all this in great detail in the essays that you'll find in the links by clicking Show More. It will require about 90 minutes to read through all 6 essays. It will take you days to read through the links and embedded videos. But I think it'll be well worth your effort. In the coming months, I want to unite all races, all religions, all classes against this global agenda, globalist agenda, and the globalists themselves. George Soros, Bill Gates, the Rothschilds, the Rockefellers. I mean, there are many more, but, you know, that's a good place to start. The health, privacy, and freedom of future generations will depend on all of us getting off our butts and actually doing something. And as soon as the lockdown's over, I will be back at my city council meeting. You can put signs on your lawn, you know, saying stop the geoengineering, stop the smart meters, stop the violations of our health, our privacy, and our freedom. I don't play guitar much anymore, really, but I'll do this little thing for you. There was a song about 50 years ago or more by Joni Mitchell. I'm not going to play the whole song, but you'll probably recognize the chorus, which goes something, you know, it's like... Don't you always seem to go that you don't know what you got till it's gone? You think that dies, you put up a fight in the lock. that tune was really something when you think about it, because that's where we're right now. You know, if we don't do something, you know, we're going to miss when all our freedom, our privacy, and our health are destroyed. And that's really what's in the crosshairs right now. Anyway, that's about all I had to say. It's a beautiful day. Just to segue out of this, I really don't play guitar much anymore, but I'll play this little piece just kind of as a little fade out. And again, you know, hit the show more, read my essays, join my Facebook group. You know, I was a pivotal figure in legalizing cannabis, and as much as 66, I just wanted to retire. I just think that I have to do what I can. I got the time, and I'm more than happy to do it. So, just a little instrumental thing here. Everybody have a good day.